Thursday, February 19th, 2026. AGNDD Intel I Report topic. Balding, rawhide-lean, just under 6 feet tall, the real-life soldier behind Robert Duvall's Apocalypse Now role. Please pardon any visual and informational inaccuracies in this partially AI-generated article-based video. Balding, rawhide-lean, just under 6 feet tall, the real-life soldier behind Robert Duvall's Apocalypse Now role. Air Cavalry Commander John B. Stockton was the inspiration behind Duvall's napalm-sniffing Lt. Col Kilgore and Francis Ford Coppola's Vietnam War epic. Joseph Houlihan, Thursday, February 19, 2026, 06:34 EST. The actor Robert Duvall, who died this week, is known for many memorable movie roles, but none so much as his cameo as the Stetson-wearing Lt. Col Kilgore in Apocalypse Now. In Francis Ford Coppola's Vietnam War epic, Duvall plays the commander of a helicopter squadron who flies into battle with Wagner's Ride of the Valkyries, blaring from loudspeakers, and utters the immortal line, "I love the smell of napalm in the morning." Duvall's scene-stealing portrayal earned him BAFTA and Golden Globe Awards for Best Supporting Actor as well as an Oscar nomination in that category. What is less well known is that his character was based on a real officer who fought in Vietnam. Lt. Col John B. Stockton was hard to miss. Like Duvall in the movie, he wore a black Stetson and spurs on his boots. He carried his papers in leather saddlebags and even had his unit's mascot, a mule called Maggie, smuggled into Vietnam despite a strict no-pets policy. And he really did play Wagner from side-mounted speakers fixed to his helicopter when going into action. Duvall, the son of a rear admiral in the U.S. Navy, confirmed in interviews discussing his part in Apocalypse Now that he studied accounts of Stockton and similar characters when preparing to play Kilgore. Stockton's style choices were not random. In his book Pleiku, The Dawn of Helicopter Warfare in Vietnam, military historian J.D. Coleman describes him as balding, rawhide-lean, just under 6 feet tall. Stockton had the handlebar mustache of the old-time cavalryman. When viewed without his headgear, he looked a lot like a Yul Brynner with facial hair. Stockton was commander of 1st Squadron, 9th Air Cavalry Regiment, and was fixated on the word cavalry. To Stockton, the helicopter soldiers of Vietnam were a contemporary embodiment of U.S. cavalry bluecoats from the frontier wars against Native Americans in the 19th century. The familiar Vietnam War image of U.S. infantry grunts being helicoptered into jungle clearings and paddy fields was in fact the outcome of a new tactical doctrine that emerged in the late 1950s, inspired by the speed and mobility of mounted cavalry from an earlier era. Helicopters were introduced into the U.S. Army during the Korean War, but mostly for carrying wounded soldiers to field hospitals, as in the 1970 movie M***A**S**H. The idea of using them to revolutionize infantry warfare is credited to Lieutenant Gen. James "Jumpin' Jim" Gavin, a highly decorated Second World War veteran who, by 1957, was head of research and development for the U.S. Army. Having experienced the pros, and especially the cons, of sending men into battle by parachute, he formulated a new tactic. His horses would be troop-carrying helicopters capable of delivering soldiers to crucial points of a battlefield with speed and precision. The air cavalry began operating in Vietnam in 1965, and Stockton was not the only officer to lean into the horse-soldier heritage. When the 1st Cavalry Division shipped to Vietnam, many of its officers enthusiastically embraced the image of their hard-riding predecessors. Stetsons, cavalry mustaches, bullwhips, six-shooters, and other accoutrements were routinely adopted, despite the best efforts of more conservative command elements. Disappointingly, Stockton is not recorded as having uttered the famous napalm line. Apocalypse Now's screenwriter John Milius says the words came to him when he was working on the script in the late 1960s. Stockton never went on record about his portrayal as Lt. Col Kilgore, but Army colleagues said it amused him. Stockton's subsequent career was marked by controversy. He was recognized as a pioneer of the new air-mobile tactics and commanded his squadron with considerable daring and panache during the early phases of the Battle of Ia Drang, the first big U.S. ground battle against North Vietnamese forces. During intense fighting in November 1965, he was told a U.S. infantry company was about to be overrun and annihilated. He asked permission to send in reinforcements, only to be denied. Stockton went ahead anyway and dispatched helicopters with extra men. His action was credited with saving 100 U.S. and Allied lives, but because he had ignored a direct order, he was removed from command. He kept his rank, but played no further role in the conflict. Despite being officially disgraced, he retained the strong affection of the men who served under him. They saw him as standing up for the ordinary soldier against senior commanders who were often careless as to the fate of their men. Stockton died in 1997 at the age of 74. Joseph Houlihan's book Vietnam on the Big Screen, How the Vietnam War Changed Hollywood, is published by Pen and Sword, £20. To support the Guardian order your copy at guardianbookshop.com. This article was amended on the 19th of February 2026 to remove a picture which was not of Lieutenant Col. John Stockton speaking at Fort Benning, Georgia in 2015, as the supplied caption led an earlier version to say.
Thank you for watching this AGNDD IntelliReport, dear viewers. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell button to get notified during new uploads. And make sure to tune in next time. Stay safe and healthy. Cheers!